And that was do-do-do-do, da-da-da-da. And I have the three of them in the studios here.
That's very well done.
Sting, Andy,
Well said.
Stuart, welcome to the
Practicing.
show. I have been practicing actually, the do-do-do, da-da-da-da.
Yeah,
I mean, I
New
couldn't
York,
spit it in a fit in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now listen, coming from New York, and as I said, that night I saw you at Madison, and then the next night at the Ritz, you're now sort of playing, or you're forced to now, having to play big gigs. Do you like, the big outdoors?
Forced.
Well, I mean, literally
well,
you are,
it
aren't you?
causes so many problems if we don't do big gigs.
Yeah.
If we do little gigs only, then everybody has to camp overnight to see us play, or they have to spend $200 from the ticket scalps and stuff. So we've got to cover the demand.
If there's a demand for 25,000 people to come like last night, isn't it ridiculous to play in a little club that only holds 100 people?
Right.
And where we can on these occasions, we try and balance it off to keep things in perspective. But I mean, it would be.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's take the New York thing. You played at Madison over 20,000 people. Next night you play for 2,000. Is it that your perspective that you want to keep into, like just because you want to keep playing the small venues?
Yeah, so in a way it's symbolic. It says that we're not above doing this. We haven't got to the point where we would never go and play a small club again.
Right.
And also, it's nice to also get the feel of playing in small places as well, because it's quite different from playing in these very large arenas.
Well, doing that in New York is also symbolic. I mean, when we played in Argentina, where we're not, the top group, they're still getting into the Beatles there.
Right.
No, and we had to start from there are still places in the world where we have to start from the bottom, where we still play small places, so we haven't forgotten how to do it.
I mean, you leave your film clips pretty simple. I mean, they're very basic in the sense. You don't really worry about, sort of giving a concert type performance in your film clips.
We're just terrible at miming. We're the worst mimers in the world.
Well, I mean, the schoolroom scene, with the cloaks and that sort of, which you'd sometimes wear on stage. I mean, where do those ideas come from? Are they your ideas or producer ideas?
I think it started right from the start. We try to make a virtue out of a sort of throwaway performance, because a lot of groups try and do a whole production and every nuance or every word of the song is acted out, and ours is to go the opposite way.
They only
It's
take
a sort of
10
a minimalist
minutes.
approach, really.
Listen, getting back to the film clips, again, the simplicity of them, I mean, do you insist on that? Because, I mean, at one stage there was a story where you never really wanted to ever go into television studios or anything,
Well, I don't know if that's true. I think it's a very real danger to overexpose yourself. If you start being on every TV show, I mean, familiarity breeds contempt. You just become too familiar to everybody. But, I mean, our approach to videos, like anything else we do, isn't rigid and formalised. We could suddenly start doing, acting out every single word in the videos in the future.
Right.
Anything could happen,
Yeah. Listen, the last time you were here, you went off to India. What was that? What was that concert like? Was it a good buzz to do that?
Fantastic.
It's great.
Yeah.
The greatest concert of certainly my career.
Yeah, I mean, were they aware of the records there? I mean, was
No.
No?
But we're
They
going
never
to
heard of
play.
us.
Yeah.
They did just
They
come
turned up
out.
to see a Western rock group, and they just come out of curiosity because they'd never seen one before.
Right.
It was a wonderful experience.
And what was it like, sort of, for instance, having to sort of go on your first world tour like you did last year, sort of, going to so many places? Was it? I mean, a lot of people find it grueling. Some people find it really,
Well,
it's
traveling
about-
we're all used to. It's just the strangeness of the places.
Yeah.
Was very good for us. It rekindled our joy in traveling.
It's Clark Kent, and Stuart, I've got to direct this question to you. Can you just tell us a little bit about this?
About the film clip or about Clark Kent?
About Clark Kent.
I've been trying to figure out Clark Kent for years, He's really very difficult to understand. I suppose his history has been recounted many times, books have been written, movies have been filmed. He's a young Hungarian ballet instructor who was trained by the CIA to accept vast quantities of information at high speed in binary code. He can plug his fingers into a power socket and his hair goes slightly frizzy, but he can learn things very quickly. His works of poetry have been translated into many different languages and stuff, but nobody can really understand him.
I've learned something today, I guess. Listen, getting back to the group itself, and laying this one on you, Sting, in the interview that you did in New York the day after the Madison Square Garden concert, they more or less said that you were going to sort of not quit the group, but spend a fair time away from the group. Well, this article said this. And said
Sting is quitting the group, it's I'm quitting the group.
Oh, right, and you were going to go into
Actually,
a film
all
career
three
for
of
a
us are
while.
quitting the group.
Well, wait a minute. One of us, I'm quitting
Someone's
first.
got to stay first.
I'm quitting first. In fact, I'm going to quit right now.
I've got to ask you this. I mean, obviously, we were talking about pressure in New York, about albums, etc. Is there going to be another album this year, or
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, we're planning to record one in the summer.
right,
That's the plan.
When we
So-
finished Australia, we're going to disappear for 6 months.
right.
And so we're going to disappear for long enough for people to start saying, whatever happened to the police?
Well,
And
I
then-
mean, it's the newspaper articles in London. Lord knows what
Saying
they'll
it all.
conjure up.
They're saying it now.
That's a
Saying
bit
it
condescending. We're playing in Australia. Well, I mean, what's wrong with
We're
Australia?
here.
I mean, what's wrong with
There
us?
is certainly nothing wrong with Australia. I'm
Right.
sure you're right now. And the other thing is, which a lot of people are screaming for now, which happens to everyone, is a live album. Is there any chance of that?
Well, we've been recording a lot of concerts. We
Yeah.
recorded
One more
last
studio
night,
album
so-
first.
Right,
I mean, we've got enough stuff recorded to put one out.
right.
It's a question of when.
Well, best of luck for the rest of the tour.
See you in.
well. I must say, you're one of the
buildings.
easiest groups I've ever interviewed in my life.
Yeah, that's
Huge.
probably
Oh,
why we
really?
just-
Interviews.
And there's still no truth in the rumour that you're leaving and solo albums and all of this.
Can't say.
Right.
It's all lies.
Okay. Well, it's time to say goodnight. Good night,
Good
Stuart.
night.
Good night.
Andy, Sting.
Which camera are we saying goodnight to?
That one over there.
Good
night.
And it's good night,
Good
Australia.
night, number 2
Good night,
camera.
Australia.